Did you know? Mario and Sonic's rivalry has a long history to it. Sonic the Hedgehog was created squarely to compete with Mario, and in a broader sense, so the Genesis could compete with Nintendo's platforms. Former marketing director at Nintendo UK and former CEO of Sega West, Mike Hayes, summed up the two companies' relationship. Nintendo was a bit like the Beatles, whereas Sega was the Rolling Stones. Competition between the two companies was fierce. Both aired commercials to discredit the other, Sega's infamous Genesis does what Nintendo don't slogan being an example of these marketing campaigns. Despite their rivalry, talk of a crossover between each company's main series circulated for years. Internal discussion allegedly took place at Sega, even while they were still developing hardware. When Sega withdrew from the console race due to the Dreamcast's financial failure, their relationship with Nintendo grew friendlier. Many Sonic titles were released or re-released on Nintendo consoles, such as the Sonic Advance series and Sonic Adventure 2. The former rivals even partnered on projects, such as F-Zero GX. In light of their improved relationship, and because Sega now operated as a publisher rather than a competing console manufacturer, they approached Nintendo about collaborating on a new game. During the GameCube era, Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka pitched a Mario and Sonic crossover action game to Nintendo. This was presented to Nintendo's higher-ups, including Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto. The plan was rejected by Nintendo as they felt it wasn't necessary for Mario and Sonic to meet inside an action game. The Mario and Sonic series began development when Sega obtained the license to games based on the 2008 Olympics. The International Olympic Committee wanted to broaden the event's appeal to children. Sega therefore proposed that Sonic should star in the game. Since they also wanted to emphasize the Olympic spirit of cooperation and sportsmanship, producer Osamu Ohashi suggested they approach Nintendo again about including Mario in the game. This time, Nintendo accepted the proposal. Because the Olympics are about bringing people from all over the world together, the two companies reasoned the event formed a perfect neutral ground for their characters to meet. Sega's sports division developed the title under Miyamoto's close supervision, and the team was thrilled to be working with the big man of games. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was announced on March 28, 2007, and was met with surprise and skepticism from fans and outlets alike. The game's release came far in advance of the Olympics themselves, launching in November 2007, while the Olympics didn't start until August 2008. There was already huge media buzz surrounding China's efforts to prepare for the Olympics, so they decided the game should capitalize on the holiday season by releasing ahead of time. A version of the game was released concurrently on mobile phones. Titled Sonic at the Olympic Games, it had no reference to Mario whatsoever. Nintendo presumably didn't want Mario appearing on a non-Nintendo console at the time. This trend continued with the game's sequel, which was pulled from iTunes shortly after release due to its poor technical performance. Sega of America's president at the time, Simon Jeffrey, mentioned that Mario and Sonic was the first title in a renovation of the Sonic brand. In an effort to make the character more contemporary, Sonic started more lighthearted games around 2007-2008. This contrasted with the trend of Sega creating more serious, story-driven games, starting with Sonic Adventure. Data exists for multiple unused playable characters in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. These characters include Silver the Hedgehog, Cream the Rabbit, Jet the Hawk, the Egg Flapper enemy from Sonic Heroes, Birdo, a fully animated Donkey Kong, and a Goomba. While many of these characters would appear in sequels, Cream cameoed as the referee in the final game. During development of the London 2012 version of Mario and Sonic, one of the team's artists was eager to take reference photographs of an event field. While approaching the field, he failed to notice an electric fence and ended up electrocuting himself. Fortunately, he was mostly unharmed. Sega also considered releasing a peripheral alongside the game. No details were given about the peripheral itself, suggesting it never advanced beyond early concepts and prototypes. Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games embraced its new location by incorporating European favorites such as soccer and equestrian sports. Additionally, there's a file in the game's data track called William CPK. The file is speculated to be named in honor of Prince William of the British royal family. Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games was the last in the series to feature Chikawa Otsuka. Otsuka was the Japanese voice of Dr. Eggman starting with Sonic Adventure in 1998, all the way up to his death in January 2015. Because the late actor couldn't reprise his role, the game used recycled voice clips from previous games. While composing the soundtrack, sound directors Teruhiko Nakagawa and Kenichi Tokoi decided to use Rio-inspired samba rhythms. The sound team dutifully studied Brazilian music to get a feel for it. However, when a percussionist from Brazil listened to samples of their music, he was apparently dissatisfied with some of their work, commenting that it sounded more Cuban than Brazilian. In response, Tokoi had the team record the soundtrack in Brazil itself, using native musicians to capture a more authentic sound. Sega's sound team arrived a couple of weeks before the world-famous Rio Carnival, and had to work within strict time limits to record the tracks before the carnival. Mario's name is featured before Sonic's in the series title, despite it being developed by Sega. However, this is likely just a sign of respect from Sega. Former Nintendo of America executive Perrin Kaplan had another theory, and joked that Mario was featured prominently because of his sex appeal. Kaplan told Newsweek, "Here's the bottom line. He's Italian, he's really sexy, and he can get more women than Sonic." Unlike Sonic, Mario's involvement with the Olympic Games goes beyond the Mario and Sonic series. He made a prominent appearance at the end of the 2016 Rio closing ceremony. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe appeared from a warp pipe, dressed in Mario's distinctive cap and overalls to accept the Olympic flag. Fans have questioned if the two characters will ever headline a non-Olympic themed game. Former Sega of Europe president Mike Hayes was dubious about the idea. Hayes told CVG, "If it was a Sonic world and we had Mario trying to run around collecting rings, it wouldn't be right." Producer Osamu Ohashi felt similarly, asserting a new world that accommodated both characters would need to be made for a collaboration to work. He also said Nintendo and Sega never managed to agree on what such a world would look like, suggesting there were multiple attempts at merging the two styles. However, the idea shouldn't be dismissed altogether. Soon after Hayes made a statement, Sonic unexpectedly joined the fight alongside Mario in Super Smash Bros Brawl. Did you also know that Sonic Heroes was at one point going to be Sonic Adventure 3? Or that according to the Sonic Heroes instruction booklet, Dr. Eggman is a feminist? For more Sonic facts, check out the Did You Know Gaming video on Sonic Heroes. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a like. I don't have anything relevant to plug for myself, but check out my friend Nagata DeVita's gameplay channel, Nostalgia Trip. They're playing Sonic 2 right now with lots of breathing balls. That's what he wanted me to say. Keep it.